Zach continues to grow. McGrath shows his poise, and the Dons bomb the Crom and take another step towards finals. This is the Sash, definitely not the official podcast of the Essendon Football Club. I am your host, Rob, here with you as always, and joining me in Castaway Studios is Ryan. Hello, mate.
How are you?
I'm good.
I'm sprightly.
You are sprightly.
I think I am.
Yeah?
I think after I left the game, I was like, I didn't like how we finished that last quarter, but after reflecting today, very happy.
Very happy.
I think really important game to get the 4 points. Good opponent. Shit ton of goals.
Lots of goals.
And what more could you want?
Yeah. I guess a bigger margin is probably the only thing that I really wanted.
Yeah.
And it was funny because even though like we were awesome and we soundly beat them, yada, 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 like the game ended and I was kind of like, oh, they just kicked 7 goals for the quarter or 6 goals for the quarter.
It was a bit like that.
Like,
It's a bit deflating,
Yeah.
especially after the Port loss, right? So I think, going into the week, Brad would have been, focusing on finishing the game. So disappointing in that aspect, but we're fifth. I don't know, what round was that?
17. Round 17.
That is berserk.
Yeah. Did not expect to be here 17 weeks ago or 18 weeks ago, I will say.
No.
So definitely surprised on that. Quickly, just on the last quarter before we move into the rest of the show. I'm not sure if you saw, there was a clip posted on social media from the club and it was sort of like post-game and they're out in the field with the camera and Parish is standing there with Merritt and he's like, oh, got pretty close there in the end. And like he's sort of smiling and bubbly, like, we still won. And Merritt's just like, yeah, we shouldn't have let him do that. Like just dead cold response. And I was like,
where is this footage? Because
it's on
I was
Twitter, Facebook, whatever. Like
I was up last night until like 1 o'clock just trying to find as much.
Just Don's editing, yeah.
Yeah, I was like F1, Dons, F1, Dons.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised I haven't got my hands on that footage. I love that.
Yeah, exactly. And that was the one thing I took away from it. I was like, I'm like, that's the captain mentality. That's him being like, no. We can't be doing that. We can't be coughing up a 6-goal last term, regardless of how far we're in front.
He was berserk.
He was insane.
So many goods.
So many goods. It was actually really hard doing a run sheet today because usually I'm like the goods. I'm like, all right, here's 4 or 5 things that I'll put in for today. But like, where do you start? I mean, who do you start with? Like, there were so many people who played well. So I'll give you the new ball. You can be the opening bowler.
I'm actually going to start with the one that's first.
Okay.
Purely on the basis, Andy McGrath always talk about his kicking.
Yeah.
Never happy with it.
Yeah.
Don't think it's AFL standard. Yesterday, couldn't miss it.
And
like it's not like it was just luck. He was pinpointing everything. Everything. So that was really great to see. He's obviously doing a fair bit of work on his kicking, but it's paying off and it's good to see that. So hopefully it only just continues to grow because, that exiting kick coming out of the defensive 50, but also a few times inside 50, he hit a few targets. And that's really important. I think he hit Guelphy.
Yeah.
When Guelphy kicked that goal.
He hit Guelphy and hit someone else. There were 2 times that he hit someone lace out inside 50, running through the middle of the ground. And I was like, oh, where's this been? Who's this guy wearing number 1? This isn't the guy from a couple of years ago who was just torping it into anyone. I was like, he's clearly been focusing on this because there aren't many other aspects of his game that are poor. Like all his defensive work's, incredible. Like his hands are great, his work in traffic's great, but he's clearly gone, all right, this is an area that I need to really.
It's probably a really good reflection on what Brad talks about when he's talking about coaching the guys. He actually says, no, I'm wanting to develop everyone individually to be better. And I'm sure that when he sat down with Andy, one of the main things for Andy's development would be his kicking. So it's really great to see them working on that.
Yeah, it went by 87%. Just checking his kicking.
That's easily his best kicking game of his career.
It felt like it. I mean, I'm sure
it definitely felt like it being at the game.
Yeah, I mean, look, it only went by 75%, but sometimes you do get those games, particularly as a defender, where it can be just inflated by, a few switches, a few side to sides.
Correct.
There's definitely a few blokes in our team who probably have themselves in their own super coach team and would just be like, 1, 2. 1, 2.
Surely
Jordan Ridley, 100% has himself as captain.
He goes to 100% every game.
Yeah, 100%. And he's also clearly just like, yeah, here's a 1, 2. No, here's another 1, 2.
Even some of his kicks yesterday, he was coming out of the back half and 45-metre kick, just lace out to, I think it was Guelphy. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I did notice in that last term, the game was ice. We did take the pressure off, but you really do notice how we move out of defence without him. Like,
we struggle.
We know how good he is defending anyway, but there were a few times there where it was like, it was in Laverty's hands, it was in BZT's hands, it was in Kelly's hands, McGrath hand, and they can all do it, at times, but they're not on his level. Not on his level, with that exiting kick. And I was like, ooh.
When was that? I think it was the third quarter when Ridley was off, and there was probably a 6-7 minute chunk where we just could not get it out of our defensive 50.
Yeah.
And you could really tell it's just like we are missing Reds.
Yeah, big time. I'll stay with the defenders while we're there. Look, collectively we're all really, really good, and we'll pick out a couple of guys. But I think again another time that Dyson Heppel should be given a bit of credit because we have been as vocal as anyone, particularly in the early season, and it was valid. They were all valid comments about the way that he was playing.
Definitely.
But there was a brief period there, and look, in fairness, for people who are at the ground, you probably would have noticed this. You might not have seen it on TV, but there was a 5-minute period there where they just kept kicking it to him. And it wasn't like he was running across. Legitimately, he was standing still and they just kicked it to him like 4 times in a row.
I felt like he was almost kicking it back to them as well.
It was a bit of kick
There
to
was
kick.
one stage on the side where the bench was, where, they were playing kick to kick, I think him and Dawson almost, which was a bit crazy. But really Hep was really good. He got himself in really good positions at that half-back line. Could really hear the communication as well at the game yesterday, despite having a really large crowd where we were sitting. Unbelievable seats, by the way.
Yeah.
Very cushiony.
Very cushiony, yeah.
The communication between Zach to Dyson and Ridley all through on the defensive was unbelievable. So, yeah, you really see that leader aspect that Dyson adds to that defensive 6.
Big time. And I feel like, I'd hope at least now that, he's gotten over that sort of down period. He's obviously stepped back. He's not a captain anymore. He's an unofficial leader in sense, but I'd like to think that he's kind of relishing that a little bit. And yeah, he's playing really, really good football. And, we've sort of discussed it a couple of times. Like, is he going to play on? Right now, it looks like he probably will. And yeah, did some really, really good things. Like I feel like he's underrated for what he does in the air sometimes, particularly in a one-on-one.
Yeah, he uses his body really well.
Like, there are a couple of times where he got fumbled and spoiled, yada, yada, yada. But yeah, I feel like that is a part of his game that's underrated. And, you might talk to opposition fans about him and they're like, oh, he's washed up, he's no good. I'm like, yeah, but he takes a few good marks.
He does a few things pretty well.
Yeah. So deserves a shout out. Other defender I think deserves a shout out is BZT.
100%.
He played on the big races and I think he played a really good game.
Really, really good.
Yeah.
Like he got in great positions, even didn't get, outworked body size too much. Disposal, the forward handballs were all really good. So yeah, credit to him.
There was one that I liked where, and it was in that period where Ridley went off and we were all kind of like, oh, God, what's it done? Is it ACL? Oh, my God. Season overall, all
felt horrible, didn't it?
Oh,
I actually initially, when I saw him down, I had the urge to get up and leave. Because whatever I've been dreaming about the last few weeks, which we never talk about,
dark
but
things.
I just thought like everything was gone. I just saw like our next 3 years just crumble and
Yeah. There was anxiety was high when he went off.
Yeah.
Like my phone, it's funny, like my phone buzzes during games for 2 things. It's either Essendon does something really good or someone gets injured.
Yeah.
That's it. Like when Merrick kicked that goal from the square earlier on,
first quarter,
suddenly my phone was just going off, message threads, mate text me, be like, man, how good is that? Fuck, you guys are on, blah, blah, blah. And then when Ridley went down, I just like, we're sitting there together going, oh God, I've got it. My phone is just, my leg is vibrating. And I'm like, it's ACL. It's the worst possible scenario. Thankfully, the club has confirmed that he's had a scan and he's passed any serious injuries. So MCL, ACL, anything like that.
Yep.
It's bone bruising. and he's a chance to play this weekend. Unfortunately, Smart Domo, who was meant to be, he's meant to be sitting right there. As for the listeners, I'm pointing to the empty chair. I'm doing my best point. And I was going to ask him about, potential that, could this flare up into something, yada, 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 yada.
Do you want me to take over?
Sure. You can put your Smart Domo hat on.
No, absolutely not. I think I distracted you there, but we're talking about BZT and he sort of stepped up in Ridley's absence. And I think I remember, I think he even sold a little dummy at one stage and kept running out of the 50. So, yeah. No, I think the back six, it's hard to say. The back six were really good, but then I really feel like we conceded really easy goals
at times.
And I don't know whether that was just luck or a breakdown in communication.
Yeah.
But
I'm not sure if I actually finished saying what I was saying about BCT as well.
Yeah, that's why I was just like, let's go back.
We got so off on a tangent. He's one of those kind of positives, so much to talk about. He, Ridley's off, high anxiety, and they kicked it to I think it was Laverty and someone else, and the ball was in the air, and I could see him. It was a split-second decision. He went, "No, I'm going to go for it," and just full tilt left his man. I can't remember if it was on Tex or Fog at this point, and just flew for it and got the spoil, and the ball went out of bounds. And I was like, "That was good." I really rated that, and he very interesting coming into this weekend against what is essentially his kryptonite at the moment, and having to play against the Hawk, and thankfully we'll have Laverty playing, which is good. But awesome game from BZT, and it's funny, we have these games and everyone's always like, "Oh, we need a colossal defender." And look, I still think we should bolster the area. We definitely should. We definitely should. But he plays games like that, and you're like, hard to drop a kid after a game like that. So
definitely,
well played. Who or what do you want to give a shout out to?
Got to give some love to Langford.
Yeah.
That first quarter, the contested marking, so clean. I don't know what has happened.
Yeah.
But he's class.
Remember I was saying to you yesterday, I'm like, remember when he was on a wing? Remember when he was on the wing and he would get stuck in these one-on-ones and he would just he just wasn't quick enough to be a winger, and he would just get caught holding the ball all the time.
But what about last year when he tore his hamstring in the first minute? We're like, oh well, there goes our midfield.
Yeah,
we don't even. He's a great. He's in great form at the moment. He presents well. Unbelievable mismatch. He must be, because everyone struggles against him. He gets in the right spots. He's even crumbing. So he's taking contested marks and then he's crumbing and kicking goals. So, got to give a lot of love. To Langers at the moment.
32 goals, on track for 40 plus at the moment, which is pretty phenomenal return. For a player like him who, has played a couple of games in defence. He's been the number 1 forward. He's been number 2. He's been number 3 at times. A thing I did notice, particularly in this game, and we'll leave the Weideman chat for later, but it looked to me like he was clearly prioritised as the other key forward option.
I would much prefer it like that.
And I think we all would. It's obviously working very well. But Peter was, doing Peter things. Paco had his, he didn't leave the 50 arc basically. And then Langford there as well. And a lot of times when Weideman was on, he was pushed up the ground. He was there to get that mark, make a contest on the wing, yada, yada, yada. And basically was playing as a second ruck. More so than a standalone forward.
Yeah.
And I liked it, to be honest. As you said, Langford was clean, does so much good things. He's playing way better than Weideman is at the moment. We can all see it.
Definitely.
But that was it. And you sort of cast that back to the Dockers game where I don't know if it was just the way that we were playing, but it just didn't seem like we looked for him at any point.
Well, we were very Peter-centric in that game, especially after he kicked 5 snags against the Poos.
Yeah.
So
good one.
God, I hate that they've won a few games, especially beating Freo.
Yeah.
Next one for you.
Don't like it. Let's do the mids. We'll do the skip. We've kind of glossed over him, but I mean, I feel like the last 6 weeks, every Monday, I'm like, oh, how good's Zach Merritt? He's better than he was last week. He's better every week.
If he wasn't suspended, he'd surely be top 5 Brownlow talk.
I mean, I reckon he's getting close to probably top 3, to be honest.
You can't even check. like on the sports bet app because he's not there anymore.
He's not there anymore. Well, a good indicator is, I mean, not always, but the AFL coaches vote, and I'm fairly certain he's 5th at the moment.
He got 9, so him and Parish both got 9 for yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah, so he is 5th. So it's
okay.
Dacos, Butters, Petraka, Neil, and then Merritt in standalone 5th position. So, yeah, you can't fault him. Like, he's lead by example. It's everything that you want in a captain. It's everything we've wanted for years. And I understand that there's different types of leaderships, but he's, as I've said a lot this season, he is a do-as-I-do leader.
He's just
Follow
everywhere.
me.
He's clean. His pressure. His execution of his tackling has just increased significantly. You know, he got a Lear last week. He got Rankin yesterday.
He got a few people yesterday.
Oh, it's just that's the stuff that gets you up and about.
Yeah, he got Laird. Or was it Laird or Dawson at the very first bounce? It was one of the two of them. I think it was Laird. Yeah. It might have been.
Yeah, and then that's what led to the Mason Redmond goal.
Yeah, yeah, and then there was, and the amount of times, particularly in the last fortnight, but like, you'll see Redmond and someone else just get someone. No, not Redmond, sorry. Merritt and someone else get someone.
Yeah.
There was one in our defensive pocket where it was Redmond and him, and they just, at full tilt, like insane closing speed, just, I can't remember which Adelaide player it was, just wrapped him up. And, you know, I love that sort of buy-in of it. Like, it's the captain and someone else, and he's like, I'm going to do it. Let's get him. And they do it together. And there's been a lot of that building over this season where, you know, these gang tackles essentially on someone, and it's pretty satisfying the crowd when there's two players taking someone to ground, everyone's scrumming ball. Like, that's when footy's it's
good. Yeah, yesterday was fun. Yesterday was fun.
Was a lot of fun. I
feel like, we haven't spoken enough about Zach. I feel like he needs his own episode.
The Zach tribute show.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. But let's just hope he just keeps on going.
Keeps on tracking.
39 disposals is ridiculous, but then Parish did the exact same thing. So they were both accumulating, both in, both out. It was really good balance. I think Darcy still had a really good game.
He had a very good game.
Really, really good game.
He also got nine votes. So clearly
a 5 and a 4 for each.
Yeah. So I love to speculate this. It's like, who
Brad would have gone 5 for Zach.
You reckon?
He's a coach's boy.
He's a coach's boy.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Definitely.
And then Matty Nix goes Parish.
Yeah.
There was one, I mean, I flagged 2 yesterday. It was in front of us in the pocket where the ball was on the ground and Parish picked it up and he did this like...
He was off balance
He was like off balance and he did this like little pump fake balk thing and then just like quickly just popped it over the top and then we went inside forward 50 and I was like, the hands on this guy are incredible. Absolutely incredible. Yeah, look, he had quite a few turnovers yesterday. His kicking did probably let him down. But just his work by hand was sublime.
So good. I also think his pressure yesterday was pretty good. I think there's a big blight on his defensive running, but just pressure around the contest and tackling has definitely increased. The kicking, look, he has been out for a long time, but yeah, I just don't understand. I think, let's call it 3 years ago.
Yeah.
He was such a reliable kick, especially in front of goal. He was kicking goals, and just feel like it's
he almost had one. I mean,
yeah,
Langford's
got that
one.
Through.
Yeah.
But yeah, just like even set shots. So I don't know, but really good game. I mean, if you're going out and you're accumulating 39 disposals, I think you know what you're doing. And especially when you have two players. So I think just the knowledge that both of them have about each of their games, it just allows them to know where to be in the right spot. So it's just such a good partnership. We just can't split them up.
Pressure acts. So Merritt, 29. Parish was next best with 26. Caldwell, 23. Hobbs, 22. So just the midfield brigade.
That 4 at the moment are just...
We took the Crows, the cleaners in the midfield. Absolutely in the midfield. Like, I know Dawson and Laird got a fair bit of it towards the end of the game, but like...
Especially the centre clearances, I think were unbelievable.
Yeah. Like, Rochelle played in the midfield? Garbage. Got nowhere near it. I got big raps in that kid. I think he's going to be a really good player, and he's a good forward, but nowhere near it. Absolutely nowhere near it. Some of the other guys who went through it, nowhere near it.
Hobbs isn't on this list, but maybe he's on the good list.
The very good list.
Like, unbelievable.
Yeah.
He's very good.
It's an understatement. It's an understatement. Like, yeah,
Quobsy.
Quobsy. Squabsy. What do you call it?
Quadsy.
Quadsy. That's what you were calling him yesterday. Yeah. The goblin. I don't know. I'm kind of lost for words with this guy. Like,
well, so he's second season at the moment, but his last, I don't know, how long's he been in the senior team for now? 5-6 weeks?
I need to double check because he started injured, then did some VFL time.
It's been an unbelievable run. His pressure, he's so hungry. His kicking is great. He's just ferocious. And I feel like he just pulls other people up as well, like teammates. So you love to see it. He's making everyone accountable.
He's just a rough player. Like, that's it. So he's played 11 games. So he came in round 6. There we go. So, but yeah, it does feel like the last month that he's had some proper midfield time where it's really sort of ascended. So, like the last 4 games, because he missed one. Actually, no, that was when we had a bye. No, never mind.
Yeah, okay.
I'm just looking at my stats. Like 24, 26, 23, 20. So like he's averaging, pretty good amount of disposals for the time that he gets in the midfield because he's not the absolute bulk.
Yeah.
Like he sort of roams through. But there's just this like, and like Mert talks about this a lot with different players, just like lack of, care for your own body where he just throws himself at anything. And Caldwell's pretty similar, but there's a way that Hobbs does it. And I remember when we drafted him and like, you read the sort of profile on these guys and where they come from. And it was like Horsham boy, he's been playing in the seniors in Horsham for like 3 years. And I'm like, this guy's going to be psycho. Yeah. Like if you've been playing with adults for 3 years in country footy, like, there's so many guys in the system who, because of scholarships and whatnot, come through the private schools and yada, yada, yada. But there's a big difference between, heading out to Xavier or Scotch with all the other little private boys versus...
Slightly a little softer out there,
yeah, it is definitely a little bit softer. Like, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of talented players versus, Darren, who's a chippy and he's 25 and probably got 20 kilos on you and is whispering in your ear that he's going to kill you. Yeah. Like, big difference playing country footy. And I think that's where kind of Hobbs has come from. And I think it shows. And we've made this comparison before, and I know it's a massive call, but we love making massive calls in this show. But like there's a bit of Selwood about him. And also the negatives, because he has been prone to ducking his head. He has been prone to do it, and he got caught holding the ball in that game. He did it again. But there's a bit of Selwood about him in the way that he attacks the footy.
Yeah, we love it. And it just makes you wonder. Like, no wonder Dylan Shiel can't get into the team because we just look better with this younger core, and if they're performing, why change it?
Yeah, exactly. We'll stay with the midfield group. Yeah, Caldwell was obviously very, very good.
So good. He's had a really good, 2 months.
Another very good game for Archie Perkins, where like it's not a tag. I think a tag's a bit of a stretch, but it is a matchup where they go, all right, we've got there's a bigger bodied, taller midfielder.
Yep.
And you're gonna be the guy to go to him for a lot of stoppages. And that first half, and look, it was, a collective thing, but I mean, Dawson did nothing in the first half. When the game was there to be won, he did nothing.
Yeah, well, I think Archie actually made him accountable.
Yeah.
Which is huge for someone like Dawson. Yeah, Archie, I don't know, how many did he have?
I think he had 24 in the end, career high.
That must be. Yeah. So it's really good. What was his disposal? Let's have a look.
Yeah. Bit fumbly at times.
Yeah, 66%.
Yeah. Bit fumbly at times, few shanks. Funnily enough, he had 3 shots on goal, all of which didn't make the distance.
Yeah.
But like they're outside 50. They're absolute long bombs.
Yeah.
I think one of them he was maybe trying to like get at the top of the square. But yeah, it was funny. Like there was that one after the siren, there was another one, and he just like went back and ran and had to try to hoof it and just didn't carry it all. But playing really, really well.
Good to see him accumulate, right?
Yeah.
That's the first steps.
Yeah.
So, no, really good.
Yeah. Because it has felt at times when he's played that half forward role and he hasn't at the minute that he kind of can just
get a bit lost.
Yeah, he just kind of goes missing a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
And he's not, I mean, look, he's a very talented player, don't get me wrong, but I feel like there are some players in the competition who can get 10 disposals and they can do so much with it. And he does at times, but I think he's just more suited to that part of the ground where, he either pushes up from half forward or is just spending more time in the midfield.
Yeah.
As opposed to some of the other guys who maybe are a bit more of a pressure player or just, have some really crazy sort of skills. But I think I might have said it earlier in the year that I think he couldn't do it, but I think he is better in the midfield now.
Yeah. No, I'm really excited about this. This young brigade we've got in the middle. Getting too excited.
Getting too excited. Too much positivity.
We should move to the bads.
No, we'll keep going. I think Jake Kelly deserves a shout out for kicking a goal against his former side. That was very, very funny. And
I was shocked why Ricky passed it off to him, but he absolutely slotted it perfectly.
I was wondering, I'm like, if it was against another team, would he pass it? But I don't know, like, because he wasn't that much further closer, and he was on worse of an angle. But
yeah.
He kicked it.
Paid off.
He kicked it, and he was pretty good. He was pretty good, Jake Kelly. I knock him pretty hard, but I think he played really, really well.
Nick Martin needs a shout out. He had a really good game.
The Latin Prince. The Latin Prince. Ricky
kicked
Martin.
That goal as well. Yeah. He took that intercept inside 50 kick from them. So really good.
Marks in D50 and forward 50 like a proper wingman.
Shove that up. Yep. Lee Montagna, giving it to him.
Was he? Yeah, that's right. That's
right.
He
had no defensive running. So
there was an article today from who was it? One of the Fox Sports guys. David Zeta wrote an article with him, and he basically I can read it. He said, "I'm really happy at Essendon. Blah blah blah. It's going to be pretty hard to leave." But he was basically says like, "I want to repay the faith." He said, "No one else wanted to give me a shot. These guys did."
Love that.
And he also said he's like, "Oh." Mum's obviously Sam Melbourne, but Dad loves the Bombers so much. I'm not sure if anyone who's on Twitter and in the Essendon Twitter space, Nick Martin's dad is actually on it, and he's quite parochial, and it's very funny because he just chimes in with like, "How good's this? How good's that?"
Loves Dons,
and I think he used to be a Collingwood supporter, so we love that. I'm not sure if he's listening. I know he does listen to some of the Essendon podcasts because I'm pretty sure he listened to the interview I did with Nick.
Okay, perfect.
But if he is listening, shout out to you, Greg. Great man. So we love that. We love what Nick's doing at the club. We love our Latin Prince.
We have to give this is almost the biggest good of the whole day.
Okay, so do you want to set the scene or should I set the scene?
No, you set the scene.
Okay, so you can hear in the coverage. So I watched some of it back today.
Oh, can you?
I watched it back today. So if you were down the Adelaide cheer squad end, there's a gentleman in that cheer squad who, after Adelaide score a goal, he yells out like "Go Crows!" and then does his best impression of a crow. Can you give me one? And he does this every goal.
So he waits until the umpire's almost ready to bounce a ball, so it's like really quiet, and then you just hear that. And he gives it 110%.
Oh man.
He nailed it for the first 3 quarters. He lost his voice in the last because there was about 47,000 goals yesterday.
Yeah.
But unbelievable.
It was
putting a smile on our face.
It was so funny. And like the section where we're sitting in, which is like the sort of pocket area, level 2, like people were in hysterics like every single time this guy did it. So yeah, won't be listening, but Crom man, well done to you. That's a highlight of the year for me.
I was saying to Mert, we need like a meow, meow.
A few of those. Yeah, that'd be good. I don't know if that sound carries though. If like
the crow noise was incredible.
The crow's so funny. It is so funny. And then we had a bit of a bird discussion. Was I saying to you or to Rowan? I was saying because it was when the Fujitsu Flame was on, which is great by the way. I love the Fujitsu Flame, hilarious. I was saying that surely Collingwood games, they should buy into like the whole Magpies swooping cyclist thing, and they should do a thing where they get someone to ride a bike really slowly around the outside and people have to chase them, and if they catch them they win money. That would be hilarious. And everyone's dressed up as a bird and they all fall over each other, and I'm like, that'd be funny. Anyway,
seems like a fair bit in that.
Yeah, fair bit in that. Maybe I'll pitch it to that club and see if they want to buy the idea of me. All right, the bads. Some of these aren't bad, but they're more just sort of discussion points. Look, we kind of touched on it at the start, but I am disappointed that we didn't put them away because the ladder is incredibly tight. It is tighter than the cheapest person that you know. They are it is so tight at the moment.
I was going to say Keogh, so
it's tighter than Ollie Keogh. I was going to say some things that shouldn't go to air, so that's what we've settled with.
Yeah, okay.
So it's very, very tight, and percentage could be a massive. It is going to be
if they kicked another goal, we'd be below St Kilda.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how tight it was,
and it's going to be a massive factor. And percentage could be the reason that we get a home final. Although it is looking like it's going to be a very Victorian dominant lower half of the 8.
Yep.
Or even making finals, depending on how things go. And there's like a lot of things that we'll sit back at the end of the season and reflect on, but man, when you're up by 40 points at 3/4 time, 35, whatever it was, like put the foot down.
And like we missed a fair few opportunities in front of goal as well yesterday. We weren't very accurate. We could have been up by more, but yeah, I think that
Peter could have had 7 probably.
It's probably the start of the fourth, and then that last probably 10 minutes of the fourth. I think after we kicked 2 goals, so is it Langford got the goal, and then maybe Nick Martin got a sealer, or someone else got a sealer?
Yeah, something like that. Golfy, Menzie.
Yeah. Oh no, not Menzie. He got his in the first half.
We probably should have given them some props. To be
honest.
Yeah,
actually,
awesome.
Jai Menzie really good.
Awesome.
The tackle on Rory Sloan that led to
again,
hold the ball and then goal, really good. And then when Peter tapped it down to him, great finish.
They're just very blue collar, those two.
Really good finish.
I like it. They're everything Truck spoke about that we weren't at the time.
Which makes me want to go back to our pod from Thursday, and we were talking about Orazio Fantasia. And for those that aren't premium subscribers, we were having this discussion. No way would I play Orazio Fantasia over Jai Menzie.
No
the guy's 19. Orazio is like 53.
Yeah.
Can't get out of bed, that guy. So,
yeah,
no,
exactly. But yeah, we didn't consult the win. And I saw someone made a really good point on social media. Apologies to whoever I'm stealing this from, but it was a comment I read somewhere. And they made a really good point. It was like, this high energy, frenetic way that we were playing, particularly in that first half, for a young group, it can be hard for to keep it up.
Yeah, definitely.
And we've seen that over the time. And although we've our game's changed from we've been slow and possessive to like this rampant game plan that, as a young side, you are going to be prone to lapses. And we've seen that over the season. We had a lapse against Collingwood and it cost us the game. We had a garbage second half against Brisbane. We had that first quarter against Geelong. We had a bad quarter against Port. This was one of those quarters, but thankfully because the buffer was so big, we didn't notice it. Whereas, if things were worse, we could have been talking about another last quarter.
Well, it just shows how important that first quarter really was.
Yes.
And that second quarter, I guess that's
first half,
where we really took it away, which is what we lacked in the Port game. I think Port really came out firing against us, and then when it came down to the end of the game, we didn't have enough points on the scoreboard. So, look. It is disappointing, but let's not deflect the fact that we did get the 4 points. I don't want to be too salty.
Yeah, exactly. But it's just,
it's
just things to discuss. Look, I had a couple of messages about him.
From listeners or friends?
Listeners.
Okay.
A few listeners. People wanted me to talk about the big weed.
Yeah.
Big chuff.
Let's do it.
Look, again, another goalless game. I think he was spending more time up the ground than before.
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely.
But still, you want a little bit more out of it. I'll say though, like considering where the list is at right now in terms of who's healthy and who's available, he's not coming out of the team. That's just the fact.
Well, not anymore.
No Flip, no Draper this weekend. That Jaden Hunter guy we picked up is out for the season, and I just don't see Pat Voss coming in at this point in time. So, whilst he is down, and I understand that he is, I think we're not in a position right now, especially this weekend, to give him a rest.
The thing that's really, disappointing is, he went up the field. So we're not expecting him to kick too many goals yesterday, but I think he was really, really poor. In the ruck yesterday, which obviously wouldn't have been easy going against Riley O'Brien, but I think he was pretty, he was vulnerable in there. So look, I know last week Brad was saying he was happy with the contest that we put into the ruck, but yesterday I didn't really see that, which does scare me. Look, to be honest, I'd be willing to give Voss a crack.
Yeah, I can understand that. But
you've got a guy who is, I don't know what size comparison he is to Weed, but I feel like he'd be fairly similar, just a little bit smaller.
I think he's a bit smaller.
But he's just ferocious. We need to give him that opportunity.
I don't know. I think Weed's a lot bigger than him. But whilst we're down our 1 and 2 ruckman, zero chance. Zero chance. If Flip was playing this weekend and we went, all right, let's do a tandem with 2 rucks, yada, 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 sure. But zero chance it's happening. So I understand the frustrations. I understand what everyone's, saying. And, he's had, let's be frank, a pretty poor month or so. But this is just what our options are right now.
Yeah.
And
are there any other options?
I mean,
put him somewhere else on the ground.
I mean, sorry, just to answer your previous question.
Yeah.
So he's an inch taller than Paddy Voss and probably a bit heavier as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't think he really needs to be in the back line the way they played on the weekend. Because they're allowing Langford to be more of a pivotal forward, I actually am okay with it right now. And I know this is going to irritate some people and they'll be like, oh, you're being soft and yada, but I would rather see Weideman up the ground getting five disposals, getting a couple of marks, being involved in a few chains and see Kyle Langford do what he does best. And I don't see, Paddy Voss isn't doing that.
Yeah.
Paddy Voss isn't doing it. Paddy Voss is playing the Langford stringer role as a deep forward.
Yep.
And there's no one else. There's no one else.
Weed's probably taking that extra defender that, is not going on Langford as well. So
yeah, exactly. He's going to keep someone accountable. In 3 weeks' time, when Flip's off being suspended and Draper's fit, sure, let's revisit the conversation if it's still going the way it is, because absolutely I'm up for it. But this weekend, no chance.
All right.
Absolutely no chance.
Done.
Flip. So he's been offered a 1-match suspension for his bump on Riley O'Brien, which I honestly did not even notice until after the game. People were talking about it online because didn't notice at the game. But
I just saw it on the big screen. It was called from the umpire furthest from it, but probably was there. Definitely there.
Definitely there.
And the 1 week probably is there. So I'm assuming we might even just accept that.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if they challenge it, considering what's going
on at the moment. Correct.
Was pretty funny to see Richmond Nuffy try and compare it to what Nankervis did on the weekend. So, yeah, that was pretty funny. Very different scenario. So, it sucks to see him go down because he's been playing pretty well.
But
could be a massive opportunity for Brian.
So this is going to give Brian basically 100% game time.
Yeah, well, close, at least 80 plus, you expect. I'm trying to think. So, was his first game, remember, I think he played against Carlton?
Last year. Or the year
2 years ago.
Yeah.
And he was up against Pitnet. And Pitnet he was pretty good at the centre bounce. So Pitnet was just all over. He's just a bigger, more mature guy. But I don't think this is all the times he's come in, he's been second fiddle. So this is his second time being the one and only, which is what he does in the VFL week in, week out. And, he can be okay at times, Reece Stanley, but I wouldn't say he's a world-beating ruckman. We're not talking about, Grundy or Gawn or something like that. I think this could be an opportunity.
I think this could be a great opportunity. This is exactly what he's needed because he's been behind, Flip and Drape. So I'm actually excited about it. I think when I saw the replay of Flip, I thought, oh, there's Brian a whole game. Probably not ideal. How important the game is, because I would really love to get the 4 points. But I think it's going to be a really good test for him. I think you mentioned on Thursday he has a really good hit out to advantage ratio. Now we're just going to get more data. Yeah, exactly. And we'll see how it goes, because when you are the one ruck, as opposed to going up for 10 contests or whatever, however many it is, if you lose that first tap, well, there's going to be 60 more of them where you get a chance to win it back. And probably be good. We can talk to Paul about it later. Oh, no, is Paul not on tonight? Because they come off the bye.
No, Paul.
Paul. So Brian's coming off the bye, so hopefully he's raring, ready to go.
Yeah, he'll be fresh. He'll be ready for a big game. And hopefully he takes the opportunity, because I think he'll be a pretty big talent at some point. I guess it's just more of a discussion. So there's obviously potential injury clouds. Obviously, Ridley, as we know, got subbed off, and also Redman. So he went off, had some hamstring work done.
I listened to it. Brad talk about it.
Yeah, something to do with tendons and hamstring. Again, smart demo. Where are you? Wish you were in that chair, because we would have asked you all these medical questions.
You know what's funny? This is how in my bag I was last night. I was just listening to Brad talk about it. And I'm like, this is so good. I'm like, I bet you he's making this up just so Adelaide are hearing this. Mason's got some lingering tendonitis issues. Not a strain, but it's there. I'm like, yeah, stay away.
Stay away. You don't want him. But yeah, so Ridley, we'll see. Wouldn't be surprised if they gave Ridley. I know it's a huge game.
Especially with the way that Brad's been managing
And a hyperextension.
Yeah. But you never know. He did come out on the oval, but he would be feeling sore today.
Yeah. So I wouldn't be shocked if we saw him have a week off. And then obviously Redmond as well is injury cloud. Ran out the game, says he's fine, but bit of a watch this space with him.
Yep.
I think. Bit of watch this space.
So if Ridley is out, what's your go-to then, Caney?
Caney, I think so. So yeah, Baldwin in with obviously
or Rhett Montgomery.
Yeah, I think you go Kane, to be honest, just because of what we've seen Tom Hawkins do to us in past, and I think the issue though is that you're left with a scenario of BGT or someone on Cameron.
Jeremy Cameron. Yeah, apparently he's back.
He's back. Bastard. We don't like that. So anyway, that could be an interesting one. And then this is, I don't know where I sit with this at the moment, but
it's a bad.
It is. Is it a bad?
It doesn't work.
Okay, Dylan Shiel as the sub doesn't work. Doesn't work.
He either starts or he doesn't play.
Yeah,
he really is struggling to get into a game.
Yeah, I don't like. Yes, he is a burst player and that he bursts from contests and bursts from packs, but I think as just the kind of midfield player that he is more suited to building into a game.
Definitely.
And, I kind of was happy to give him the excuse last week in the wet, but first contest he was at, just fumbling the ball on the ground, I was just like, is this a mental thing? Is this because, it's just not there? And, it's hard because I'm like, I don't want to take anyone out of our midfield right now. No. And then I'm looking at the other players going, who would be a good impact player and has been a good impact player, but also I don't want them to be the sub. I don't know.
I would have preferred either Hind or Cox.
Yeah.
I'm happy to throw Cox in there.
Yeah.
But I think Hind's been a really good sub in the past. I mean, he's got that fast pace and definitely, can show it. But yeah, Shiel, I don't know. It's a big question mark at the moment. He's looked a bit lost out there as a sub. And if he's fit, then he should be playing.
Yeah, I like.
But Hobbs is keeping him out. I'm assuming.
Yeah,
and
Caldwell and everyone else.
They've been unbelievable, and it's going to be an interesting one when Setterfield's back as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, how do I phrase this? Look, I like Hind as the sub, but I'm like, who are we taking? Look, an injury will happen. Someone will get a knock. Something will happen, and that's just how footy works. You're never always fully fit. But I'm looking at these guys. I'm like, who am I taking out for Shiel? And people say Snelling, which I can understand.
Snell's stats now,
which I can understand.
Three tackles, 10 disposals,
no goals.
No goals.
Oh,
that's salty.
Yeah, no goals. But you can't take Menzies or Guelphy out.
No. Guelphy and Menzies are so good.
They're locked.
Their pressure is. Yeah. Every time I watch Guelphy yesterday when a Crows defender was exiting or about to take a kick, and he was never going to get there, but he made sure he just
put the pressure on.
So no, he's simply must.
Yeah, I guess Snelling is the answer. I think people would be looking for, but. Yeah, I'm kind of with you. It's either you play Shiel and you start him, or you don't play him.
He obviously doesn't work, and as a sub, and I don't think we can take another risk.
Yeah. Look, I wouldn't be surprised if it was Snell. I'd be very shocked if it was anyone else. Just pure on positional changes, but yeah, I guess we'll see what happens there. Let's take a little break. Ryan.
Let's do it.
We've got some hot takes after the break, and then we've got questions from Discord. So all our lovely premium members who are on our Discord have sent through some questions over the last few weeks, and we haven't read them out for a little while, so we've got a few to go through, and we'll come back and we'll do that after the break.
Beautiful.
Welcome back. Part 2 of the podcast, as we mentioned earlier. No Paul this week. He was a buy for the VFL, so at least the VFL men's. The VFLW, though, they got a win in their final. So they're on the charge for another granny, which would be pretty good.
Love that.
Love that indeed. AFLW is going to be starting soon, which is great. Keen for that.
How many rounds did they end up going for?
I actually don't know.
It was maybe
It's more than last year, isn't
It was
it?
like 10 or 12.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I feel like I should know
Deserves
this.
to be better, to longer, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, I wish. So when is it starting? Oh, this is 2022. It'd be great if they told me 2023. Oh, great. No, they haven't announced any of them. That's great. Yeah, I wish it was earlier in the season, but anyway, keen for that. All right, let's get into some hot takes, which we'll play first. Thank you to everyone who sent them through. Only a few this week. I feel like everyone's like, when people are kind of satisfied, like they haven't got a need. When they're really upset or they're like absolutely on the moon, then they've got something to send in.
You need a vent.
You need a vent. But we've only got a couple today, so thank you everyone who sent them through. First one's from our dear friend Lurker. Thanks, Lurker.
Abundant, audacious alacrity annihilates Adelaide. Marvellous marvel midfield machinations mesmerises miscreants. Brad's bombers beautifully buoyant.
It's good. Very good.
Buoyant.
Alacrity is a good word.
Don't know what it means.
Do you want to find out what it means? Let's find out, Ryan. Bit of dictionary corner here for you. Noun, brisk and cheerful readiness.
That's me right
now. And here's the example. She accepted the invitation with alacrity.
Alacrity.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
Next one is from Give Ben Hobbs a 30-year contract. Great name.
Give Ben Hobbs a 30-year contract today. The kid's an absolute star. Dominates in the midfield and pops up in the forward line and kicks a goal or two. I love the Goblin. All positives down to the Dons, aside from obviously Ridley. Touchwood, he's all right. And damn Flip for bumping O'Brien head high in the dying stages of the game. Potentially going to get ruled out for next week against Geelong. Oh, well. Let's focus on the Adelaide game for the week. Up the fucking plains, baby.
We forgot to talk about that goal from Hobbs.
It was good.
Real good.
Real good. He's got polish. He's got a lot. He's got a lot going on. We like him. We like him a lot. Next one is from Jordan Ridley's knee.
Ooh.
Thanks, Jordan Ridley's knee.
Oh, this is Jordan Ridley's knee. I'm all good. I might need a couple of weeks, but you know what? Get a dog up your Crom. He's a fucking flat track bullies, you fucking dickheads. Just like the Poms. Fucking get back in your crease, Besto, you flog. This is Jordan Ridley's knee out. See you later.
Just turned there. Yeah. Completely different guy.
That was good.
We like that.
That was good. Apologies for the F-bombs, everyone. Last one's from Ethan. Thanks, Ethan.
To all those flogs that were giving it to Archie Perkins, a week or two ago on Twitter or other social media platforms, saying that, he's lazy, can't run two ways, drop him in the twos, he's a bust, Dodoro should have drafted someone else. Get a big fucking dog up here, honestly. Kid's so wide. When we play him in the middle, he's elite. Yes, I'd like to see a little bit more, mongrel work or also, just cleanliness with the ball today. But, career high 24 touches. Feels superb alongside Hobbs as well, who in the first half hit his own Sharon. So, yeah. But anyways, good win, boys. Up the plains.
Yeah, there were some people who were in the social space who weren't happy with Perkins.
Saying he should be in the twos.
Yeah, I can't remember which game. It might have been off the Freo game. And, he was bad in the Freo game. But
I think everyone was bad in the Freo game.
Yeah, exactly. But there were a few people who were like, he's a bust. We shouldn't have got him. It's like, no, hold on.
He's the only one playing out of the three we drafted. So
exactly. On him and this weekend, Dangerfield, do you reckon? Similar thing he's been doing at the stoppage, yada, 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 keep him accountable, that whole thing.
Yeah, potentially.
Because Dangerfield
he always tears us up.
I think he just bullies our guys.
Yeah.
So
he's insane.
I reckon I don't mind it.
Yeah, I back that.
Don't mind it.
I back that.
Don't mind it. Thanks everyone for sending through your hot takes. We'll go through some questions from the Discord. Sorry, I'm just fiddling around with my beanie here. I'll put it up on the microphone. There you go, everyone on YouTube. You can enjoy that. All right.
Pod questions.
I'm going to have to scroll back a little bit because we haven't done this for a little while. All right, so let's go back to Riley Scott, I think is probably where to go.
You got a date there for me, mate?
The 2nd of July.
All right.
Apologies to anyone. Actually, yeah, no, because we did Liam's on a Thursday. All right. Riley Scott says, if we make finals and our injury return timeframes are accurate, who's in/out from this week's side? That was from 2 weeks ago. So, so hasn't changed. So,
yep.
Like,
nothing except for somehow Weideman not being there.
Yeah. Look.
So Draper
would
come in.
Draper's going to come in, which could potentially. I could see a scenario based on form where they run a Phillips Draper and take Weideman out. I could see that. I could see that happening.
Definitely. Well, that's what we did at the start of the year without Peter. We did Peter, Flip, Drapes.
It worked pretty well. So could see that happening. Then the other two who can come back in is obviously Shiel. Well, Shiel to the 22, not the 20 at the sub, and then Setterfield. I mean,
I don't want to stuff up anything at the moment.
It's hard. Setterfield is obviously really, really good for that defensive work, contested work.
We also don't know what it looks like with Setterfield in there, with Hobbs and Caldwell.
Yeah, exactly. So, look, I think, unfortunately, as much as I love the Slugs' work, I think Snelling's spot is up for grabs.
Yeah,
he plays in that role where you don't get a lot of the ball. If he can jag a goal, it's good. But you're that extra man at the stoppage. You're the link in the chain, and you can go missing.
Yeah,
and I think he has the potential to lose his spot. And then it gets really hard. And I think you're just going to accept the fact that someone at some point is going to cop a knock and be injured.
Yeah.
So it's hard. It's a good problem to have.
Great problem to have.
But it is hard. Do you want to go to the next one?
John Boy. Do we go for Mackay for a fair contract so we have a stopgap for if or when Reed is finally ready? Now, he's obviously talking about Ben Mackay.
Yes.
From North. I think I've already touched on this, but I think we go for him at the right price. But I think we need to give the right price so that North can get the compensation they want to let him go. So, look, I don't want to be giving him $800,000. He's played like 50 games in 8-9 seasons. He's very injury prone. But, yeah, there's a lot of potential there.
Yeah, and we definitely need to bolster those stocks, our key defensive stocks. We definitely need to have depth there and have options there. Do I think we throw the absolute kitchen sink at him? No, I don't.
No way.
No.
I'd prefer Barras.
Yeah.
But there's a huge height difference between Mackay and Barras.
Yeah.
And Mackay is absolutely huge.
You also have to trade for Barras, whereas Mackay is a free agent. So that's the other.
I'd give Mackay 600.
Okay.
I don't know how much you need to be able to get first round comp.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But look, I'd take him for the right price, but I wouldn't want to be selling the farm for a guy who is very, very injury prone. Someone did say, would we want Barras? That's fine. We'll just keep going. Yada, yada, yada. Brody says, Menzies is simply must play now, right? A forward line is almost complete with him in it. Yes, he is simply must play.
Yep. Simply must play. That's an easy one.
Easy. Like I said earlier in the season, but I think although Guelphy has come back pretty strong, I think he's the number one small forward at this point in time. Menzies.
Yeah, he probably is.
Like, Tipper's obviously not on the side at the moment.
ADJ is not playing.
All the young guys.
Snelling can't kick far.
Yeah, I don't know. I almost don't see I know he's not forward, but he
doesn't look for the goals.
Yeah, like I said, he plays that flank, extra mid role. He's not like your crummer.
Yeah, no, he simply must play.
Yep.
Willie P. Will we lose Davey and Tex to the twos and trade periods? Don't think we'll lose them.
Mm-hmm.
I hope not.
Hope not.
The Davey twins and Tex, fair bit of development for them. So I think they'll come along and potentially, play some senior football next year.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they're just, they're young, they're slight of frame, they've just got a lot of time. I know particularly with, say, Tex, for instance, like, I think something we do forget with some of these guys is that
they didn't play much football.
If you were a Victorian kid who was 17, 18, between 20 and 2021, you didn't play any footy. So their bodies have probably just, maybe just regressed a little bit just from not having so much experience out there, or they've got the talent, yada, yada, yada. And they just need to be playing. Playing in the VFL's fine.
Definitely.
Good to have depth. Good to have options.
And I mean, Davey had his best game
last
week in the VFL, and Tex had his best game maybe the week or two before that. So,
yeah,
really good.
Yeah.
And then we've also got Jaden Davey sitting there ready to go for pre-season.
Exactly, which will be good. But yeah, look, I can't see anyone going after them at this stage. Maybe down the line, sure. But at this point in time, unless they actually want to leave the club, I can't see a reason why they would. We've got the money to pay them, enough, and they're not good enough yet to have someone, going, I'll give you $1 million to come to wherever. Tom Painter, who's the biggest flog in the league? My vote is Rankin. Every time he's tackled, he tries to get into the tackler. He also has shit facial hair. He's got does he have a rat tail?
No, he used to.
He had a little thing. Yeah.
Oh, I think he used to have it when he was at the Suns.
Yeah. I said to someone, rank by name, rank by nature. For old, who's the biggest flog in the league? That's hard.
Ginnivan?
Yeah, he definitely was. I almost feel sorry for him though. He's just been pushed out of that team, but
sorry for him. I don't feel sorry for him.
Yeah, but also there's videos.
He won an Anzac Day medal. He kicked 5 goals against us.
That's true.
If you ever feel sorry for that guy, I will walk out of here.
Okay. Well, that video of him just getting bashed in the VFL was pretty funny though.
Loved it.
I will say that though.
Biggest flog in the AFL. Oh, it's a tough one.
I mean, there's a lot of people in the media who I'd put in that list, but maybe I'm trying to think of players.
Who's the first one you'd put on from the media?
Sam McClure.
He's
probably my number one. Just makes things up.
Yeah.
Just makes it just I don't know. It seems to be a Channel 9 thing. I don't know what it is about them. Yeah, that's really hard. I mean, there are a few players who just kind of irritate me, but
biggest flog I know is easily Mert, but in the AFL, I have no idea.
That's a hard one. Maybe DM, that'll be the topic for the week, everyone. DM us who you think the biggest flog in the AFL is.
Get him in.
Tom Painter definitely wants to know. I don't know where it was. Someone said, maybe it wasn't Discord, but someone said, thoughts of Tex Wanganeen playing off the halfback flank.
Yeah, that can definitely work.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. I like that idea. I think he's a good mover.
Yeah, his lateral movement would definitely suit that.
Good kick. Suits the sort of slider frame guys. That's pretty good.
Yeah, definitely.
That was pretty good. I'm not sure if you were on the Daily Dons thread today in the Discord. So I posted as often I'll do. I mean, actually I haven't done it for like a month or so, but anyway, sometimes after a win, I'll just post on our little story, I'll post an image of the caps and the beanies. We're holding now. And obviously post the, the logo gate or whatever we're going to call it. Some people aren't fans of planes. And I have had, I reckon, half a dozen boomers. And I apologise to any of our older listeners, but the data tells me there's not many of you who really didn't like the Go Plane stuff. And I got a whole bunch of messages from people who their profile pictures were either of cars, the Aussie flag, or a dog. And they're like, we're not planes, jog on. No way, we changing to the planes. Bunch of angry emojis. You're kidding. Why would we be the planes? Why are you doing this now after a win? It's like, some people just don't. Like this one that says, no, it's a no from me. And there's like a gif of someone like looking startled.
We're not trying to change the name.
No, of course not. It's just a gag.
Just on this podcast, we can't use anything else, so we came up with.
Yeah, well, I can't exactly. I can't sell stuff with the Essendon bloody logo, can I?
I had my Planes cap on yesterday.
You did,
actually. So did Mert.
Yeah, looking good. Looking real good. Yeah, someone called Peter, and the typical profile picture of it's of a car. I didn't share this one on the Discord. Let me have a look at it. Yep, that's a Ford Falcon Ute. It's a picture of a purple Ford Falcon Ute, and it says, "No way! If it changes, I'm out." So, thanks, guys.
I also agree. If we change the name, well, I won't be out, but I'll be disappointed.
Look,
I love the history of our football club,
yeah,
and our name and where it stems from, and all the pain the club's brought me over the last 20 years, and I don't want it to change.
Yeah, exactly. And I cannot see a single scenario where they're actually going to do this.
No, never. Never.
But that doesn't mean you shouldn't buy one.
Did you see that on the daily Dons? What was that? Nate Dogg, 76.
Can you explain it for the listeners?
It's just a chart as to how your team has improved or regressed from round 17, 2022 to round 17 this year.
Mm-hmm.
We're up 11 spots.
Is that the most?
Yeah. Porter up 10. Carlton are down 6. Freo down 11. Can't believe we lost.
Yeah. It was a bad. It was a very bad. Very, very bad. Very, very bad. Ryan, let's have a quick discussion about next weekend, the Catters, before we wrap up for an evening.
Let's do it.
Firstly, are you going to go? Or are you able to attend for the few tickets that are available?
No, I think the original plan at the start of the year was I'd love to go stay down at Kingo's house if I was invited, but I was also just going to rock up.
Yeah.
Can't do that anymore. I've got two of my good mates, both named Alex, doing a joint 30th.
That'll be fun.
So, yeah, I'll be there celebrating, so I'll be watching the game. Game on TV, but I think it's almost impossible.
It's pretty hard.
Probably more likely Sam Weideman kick a goal than get a ticket to the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially with all the renovations.
Yeah, it's pretty hard. Look, I'm all for teams playing at their home ground and all that, but while this ground's like half constructed,
do you know why?
Finish the stadium and then we'll come down there.
Well, do you know why it was? They were saying on SEN this morning that
it was meant to be done at the start of the year, wasn't it?
Was meant to be this game was their opening, so they wanted big club to bring some extra supporters down to fill the numbers. So rather than having, the 80-odd thousand that we had at the G at the start of the year, which, what was that, round 2 or 3?
Yeah.
Round 3 after we beat Melbourne, I think.
No. It was like around 5 or 6.
Okay.
It was after Anzac Day.
So rather than that, we're probably going to have around 20,000 at GMHBA. So whoever did that, the scheduling and just that's...
Ben. The construction company who's building the stadium, Ben.
Well, whoever thought that the construction time frame was actually going to be accurate, you're an idiot.
Ben. Who are you most worried about for the Cats?
Oh, there's several names.
Just pick one.
Hawkins, Cameron, Dangerfield.
There's 3. There's 3. Where do you think we can expose them?
In the ruck.
Really?
But we don't have. We've only got Brian, so
Brian
it would have been the ruck in the first instance. So with what we've currently got, it's a no. I don't actually know where we can expose them.
It's going to be hard. Yeah, I think we've just got to be feral around the ball and win it in the guts, I think is it. And hopefully those bigger bodies like your Blitzarves, your Dangerfields don't just do what they have done to us in the past, which is
even like Mitch Duncan.
Smashes.
He's always been so consistent.
Yeah, he has. Listeners, thank you very much for listening, and the watchers on YouTube. We appreciate your support as always. If you want to listen to Thursday's show, you can find the link in the show description to become a premium member. You can also find the link on our website and all of our other social media as well. You can get yourself a Plains beanie or a cap or a scarf or any of our other merchandise on our website if you want to support the show that way. Helps us keep the lights on and pay for the studio and everything else that we do. Anyone else you want to thank, Ryan?
I'd like to thank my parents. Nah. You don't get that opportunity, right?
Yeah.
So it just pops in.
Just thank him.
Thank him for taking me on my football trainings growing up. Disappointed I never made it.
Yeah. I'd like to thank Ben Hobbs just for being good and Nick Martin as well.
Yeah.
For also being
just
good.
Thanks to the guys for getting the W and putting a smile on my face.
Yeah. Thanks to
on
the
this
boys.
Monday, because if they didn't, geez, it would have been a grim day.
Yep, indeed. Thanks, everyone. Good to be 5th on the ladder. Massive couple of weeks coming up against the Catters and, of course, the Doggies, which could set up a finals berth with these next 2 weeks. If we get 2 wins, you'd think we get it done from there. So massive games. This weekend's huge. Big. See you, everyone.
Cheers.
Go Plains.